a response. I'm not sure, maybe that's something you want to check into and see if you can adjust that. So I had to make a comment, and then I had to make a video to respond to that comment. So you're not officially tagged in the video. So I hope you're able to see it. I'm not sure how that works. I'm kind of new to this stuff too. But let's go back and address an argument that I made that you took issue with. I made the argument that if we actually used firearms to conduct abortions, would you then be outraged about the loss of innocent human life due to abortions by firearms? Because you're very outraged about 39,773 innocent lives lost to gun violence. But you have no outrage over 926,200 lives slaughtered by abortion.
Now, you're right. I mean, I look at this statistic on the left, 39,773 lives taken by a firearm as the Christian entanglement in this issue, which I was trying to articulate, I guess is the best word, when I just said, I mean, how can you just say you're pro-life, you know, like all these lives matter, and, you know, especially the lives of the unborn, but then it's intriguing to me in a sense that you still don't see like the issue that I can see here is that the Second Amendment in its original text says in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, you know, it is the right to bear arms and all that stuff, to maintain a militia to protect the individual villages and new developing towns and stuff like that. Like, that's my understanding and interpretation of that Second Amendment. This whole thing about self-defense, there's nothing that says self-defense in the Second Amendment. And if you have some other, you know, logical proof against that, please share it with me. But like I said, am I outraged? I'm outraged when people use rhetoric, specifically words like slaughtered. You said that all these lives that are aborted are slaughtered, right? But then, like, what about these gun violence? That's an act of self-defense. And like you said, if a responsible gun owner uses the firearm correctly, it's actually for life. But is it? You know, like, whose life? It's for the life of the gun owner and his posse, right? The gun is used to take away the other life or lives that are threatening those who shoot, right? I don't have a gun. I've shot a gun. I know how to use a gun, but I refuse to ever own a gun, bring a gun into my house, affiliate with people who are like Lauren Boebert, you know, like a senator or in my state of Colorado, who is openly carrying a gun strapped to her side inside the Senate hall. You know, like, it's just stuff like that where I'm just like, okay, yeah, all right, so you're pro-life, you want the unborn to be born, so what? For target practice, so they can end up possibly being target practice? That's my fury, is that all these children, like that pastor said, babies are killing babies. And what does he say? He says that, and all the left wants to do is have more abortions. It's like, no, the left wants more gun control and more this. So this is where the straw man comes in on the other side, where they just, like you said, why do you hate babies? I don't hate babies, right? I respect and I acknowledge and I understand the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So if a couple or a specific mother who is expecting a baby finds that this new life that she was thinking of bringing into the world all of a sudden, or for whatever reason, threatens or goes against her own life, liberty, and her pursuit of happiness, then that is unfortunately the hypocrisy of our democracy. I, as a citizen, can feel however I want, but that is her right to her privacy, which is what Roe versus Wade. Women should have privacy in these kinds of decisions. They shouldn't be involved with the government. So when I hear pro-lifers talk about the abolition or getting rid of abortion, I look at abortion. You asked me to defend abortion as a moral choice. It's not moral. It's an ethical option, right? And from a moral biblical standpoint, I personally feel that if I was a child and I asked my parents, like, why did you bring me into this world? I would be heartbroken if they told me, what other option did I have? It's not like I could have done anything else. I couldn't have aborted you, right? That's how I look at it. It devalues life. You know, like, if abortion existed and I exist, that means my parents chose life for me, right? Even though they could have chosen however pro or con they wished, they chose life for me. So that's the issue. And I hate it when Christians go and start saying abortion is murder, because what Christians are now saying about other fellow Christians or neighbors, brothers and sisters, people, like you said, you know, and I took a little offense when you were just like, oh, you know, neighbors means more than just like people around you. And you telling me I only care about the people that I know. Of course I care about the people that I know. Do you not care about the people that you know? And do you only care about these people who don't know the world even, you know? So it's just like, I ask you, do you not see the hypocrisy of saying you are a conservative Christian on the side of life, and then on the same side of an amendment that takes away life to defend another life? That's the case. And with that Marcia Jones Planned Parenthood, look at that case. I don't know if you're familiar, but that was a mother in Alabama who was pregnant, who attacked another woman who was carrying a gun, and with her Second Amendment right, she pulled that gun on that mother and shot her in the stomach in self-defense. And that mother was now being charged with manslaughter, not the woman who shot her, because the woman said, it's my Second Amendment right. I killed that baby, I'm sorry. So when you say, like, if the government uses guns to do abortions, I just ask you, like, I'm very big on thought experiments, but that's just a faulty thought experiment. Like, how are you going to use a gun to abort something other than like how that happened? So that's where I just look at that scenario as just, what would you choose in that case? You know, like, are you on the side of the aborted life, or are you on the side of the mother who got shot, or are you on the side of the person who was exercising their Second Amendment right? These are real issues that have been in entanglement, a constitutional entanglement, that are now coming out in superposition. And I'm sorry if you don't understand this language, but like I said, thank you for having this conversation. And, you know, with the Virginia law to save a life, it's not the government's responsibility to enact laws to save these lives, just to provide us with ethical and moral options to choose such ways. You know, like, we can choose to be good, we can choose to be evil, we can do evil and choose to stay evil, or learn from those mistakes and become good. These are the moments in life that define life, you know? So it's just like, I'm not trying to come down on you about this, because you actually provide some good information for me to rethink. But like I said, there's pastors who are on the wrong side, teaching the wrong thing, especially like that pastor who just says Planned Parenthood kills more lives in 2 weeks than, you know, the KKK lynched in a century. It's just like, really? So it's just, I hate it when the unborn lives are weaponized to push this dumb agenda like BLM and all that. So